The National Human Rights Institution main objective is to enhance human rights within the United Arab Emirates for all those who live in this country. Whether you are a citizen or resident, we are all equal before the law, and how we can work together and collaborate in order to develop the notion of human rights at all levels to all those are interested in this. The NHRI focuses on all aspects of human rights in the United Arab Emirates. When we talk about the rights of women, the rights of children, the rights of those who are special needs, but also focusing on the rights of labor, workers, and making sure that all those who are in the United Arab Emirates can actually enjoy their presence in this country, but also be able to be aware that their rights have been preserved and they are able to communicate their concerns, but also look into the available opportunities to make their stay and their presence in the UAE enjoyable and memorable. The National Human Rights Institution will be working very closely with international organizations related to human rights and comes at the helm of that, the United Nations, in which we can partner and work together on a variety of initiatives, but also extending the efforts in order to advance human rights not only within the UAE, but also around the world. The NHRI focuses mainly on a variety of initiatives related to the protection of human rights as one component, but also how we can spread the culture of human rights where the rule of law becomes the main theme. We will be conducting several seminars, workshops, but also producing reports on annual basis in which we can monitor the status of human rights in the UAE in collaboration with the relevant entities, but also working with different governmental sectors in collaboration with the civil society. All matters of human rights boils down to the simple notion, human dignity. How we can preserve human dignity, how we can offer human rights, how we can understand that at the end of the day, for us to work together as a community, we need to be able to understand how we can function in a constructive, healthy way, where matters of racism, matters of discrimination are no longer part of the dynamics of any society. In fact, where we invest in the future and looking into how we can work together as one community into building all the necessary environmental factors that will allow us to grow, to enhance, to develop, and most importantly, to flourish as one people of the United Arab Emirates, both citizens and residents. The establishment of the National Human Rights Institution is very personal to me, to be very frank with you. Being someone from a multicultural family, where my father is German, my mother is Emirati, and she actually belongs to the first generation of policewomen in the history of this country, it makes it so important to me because I realize how the potential of this country can actually make the difference, but also it makes me understand the type of challenges, the type of concerns that all people in the UAE may have, but most importantly, what are the opportunities that we can provide and how we can continue to enhance human rights in the country. And being a psychologist myself, I understand the value of the human behavior, the human cognition, what it means to be human at the core level, how your feelings, your emotions actually matter, how we can make sure that your sense of well-being and your sense of existence and presence remains at the core of all the policies that the UAE is developing and endorsing. The National Human Rights Institution focuses not only on the present, but also paves the way to the future. How we can work together in light of the UAE vision for the next 50 years, where we work with all society, with all the community, with all members, whether you are at the civil society or working for the government or the private sector or simply an independent academic, how we can work together in enhancing the concept of human rights, not just in theory, but in practice.